Good morning everyone and welcome back to Magical Mysteries, the series where I make myself suffer through another challenge of good old magical vacation. In MV, you can use up to 15 wacky high schoolers during your adventure to stop enigmas from reviving their king, who lost the war after controlling some convoluted lore stuff. But today, the boys are actually on vacation, so the girls are gonna have to do the heavy lifting. Can you beat Magical Vacation only using female characters? The rules are simple. We can only attack enemies if we are a girl, and the run ends when we meet the final boss, Carondu, in the Abyssal Realm, and watch the credits roll. Now for the more interesting question that will definitely not get me cancelled, what defines as a female? To avoid any sort of question in the comments, I want the simple answer: if the character's bio reads out female in the menu, the attacking is eligible. If it reads out male or question mark, they will not be used. A few more additional rules to spice things up. Items are banned, meaning no gummy frogs, worms, or bombs during battle, but items outside of battle or wearing equipment is just fine. Including our main character, we have 8 characters that are listed as female. Oddly enough, the Puka from the Tuacat bonus dungeon is here. Because it's side content, we won't be using her at all. Finally, the last rule is no amigo mode for this playthrough, so no being a dark mage and equipping spells with mojo. With all that out of the way, let's take on this massive gauntlet. Before we do anything, we have to choose the female avatar, make a fitting name for ourselves, and most important thing, choose one of the 13 elements that will aid us in our quest. You might think choosing one of the elements that isn't shared with the female students would be the best option, and for some cases like poison and wood, the run might be easier due to being easier to use in battle. My counter-argument is not going with them due to some parts of the game being really difficult without the right setup, and since our options are quite limited. Spoiler alert, the mid-game of the Dark Realm is going to be the hardest part of the whole run, so doubling up on magic is going to help us out a lot. Wind and Beast friends, Candy and Olive, are too late to join the run helpful early on. Water and Thunder are also good early and late game, but it will be much harder to utilize during the middle of the run. And after weighing our options, I decided the best option was Sound. Its effects can put enemies to sleep, its Spirit March spell can buff an ally's magic defense by 40%, but besides that, it'll come good use later on, trust me. After creating our heroine, meet our classmates and get some nice equipment from the academy, we'll get everyone on the bus and book it to the beach. We learn about some treasure in the Pirate's Cove from Sesame in the evening and gather some gals to the hunt to face our first battle. Mission failed. By all technicalities, Sesame is forced to our party, so we can't ditch him. But let's take a look at our options. Attack and magic are obviously off the table, and since using items is impossible at this time, we can flee, but it just resets the battle, so it's mandatory. Thankfully, to make this video slightly more insane, I decided to change up the rules just a little bit. We have the guys participate in battle when they are mandatory, but they are not allowed to attack whatsoever. Instead, they must guard and think about their favorite places to stay on vacation. The girls must use everything except for items because they are banned in this run. We can put Sesame in the back row, or alternatively, we can have 2 members, including the heroine, forcibly kill Sesame in the dark cave. But I was lazy in thinking about that, so we shove him in the back, leaving him to reap the rewards of the mystical pine cones. The rest of the opening is exactly the same, bar mentioning a few gummy frogs giving you the lemons, so the gummy frog counter on the report card can reset back to 0, and once our classmates are whisked away to the light realm by the horrific enigmas, we can finally start our girl-powered quest, beginning our arrival in Minulet Forest. In the very first area, the spirit corresponds to our element chose, and they'll always ask for a gummy frog. Luckily, we have that one dropped by an enigma at the beach. After exploring, you might be tempted to collect a few gummy frogs, but in actuality, you should not collect them for a few reasons. One, since using items is out of the question, Peach is our only healer, and getting love spirits increases her usefulness in the endgame. 2, the love spirit will actively hate you if you are collecting or purchasing frogs, so make sure you avoid that. And 3, this makes one dungeon in the endgame significantly easier, though it makes another one significantly harder, but we'll get to that. While on our way, we find the first boss, Demise, bullying Pistachio, but we kill him with ease. I just guard with Pistachio and summon the Sound Spirit and immediately cast Spirit's Requiem for a whopping 16 damage, taking this guy out with only a few hits. Along the way, I decided to do a few things. The first was get 3 of every other spirit for some important things later on, and bring Pistachio down to 1 HP to make it more challenging for bosses. Nothing else big happened until we reached toe-to-toe with Aurencia in the Forest Cave, who is actually an enigma in disguise. Which leads us into the next boss of the game, against Volcanora and 2 little ghosts. Kirsch and the real Arancia joins us for the fight, and since Arancia can use sound magic, we can quickly set up powerful spirit combos with our Psycho Catchy. This fight is quite difficult considering this is the first real encounter with dark elements, who are super effective against all elements except for dark, light, and love. The little ghosts also have a high spirit stat, meaning that 2 physical hits can take them out no problem. All the while, a Call Inky plus Bijote combo is quite deadly, but now since we have Arancia, we could actually do the devastating combo I call Catchy plus Spirit Reluctant combo. We put the spirit down with one character, and another character with that same element could use the strongest move available, either disable the Inky spirit or do damage, or the saving grace in the run, putting them to sleep. The sleep element has a low chance of happening, but when it does, it's a free term of spirit summoning. If our heroine goes down, this will be significantly harder. Rinse and repeat until Volcanera is history, but Kirsch is gone, so it's our duty to save him. Another benefit of Arancia is that we get another sound spirit out of the cave, but we just need a box one, so make sure you get that. Nothing much happens in Outran Village, except we get another temporary character of Ganache. Now you see the problem here? That there's 3 guys and 2 girls, but we have a super great shot, which I can now utilize to its ultimate potential. I introduce you to the Simp Wall! Have 3 males stand in the front while the ladies stay in the back. This is extremely good for incoming areas that feature some blade enemies, which can only attack the front row even with magic. After consulting with Millie, Fiona, and Chiffon about the recent murder in the town, follow Millie to the great unknown and face the hardest boss yet. Snowhair, 2 humming winds, and a baby scissors, of which I actually experienced my first loss. Turns out I am an idiot and didn't immediately target a thing that would basically one-shot my whole team. And I ran into another scary thing in the whole game, which is getting stung by the humming-winged beak. Usually you can cure this with tails, but since we can't use those things because of the rules, and thus Arancia can't outdamage the 2, plus we can't use Ganache's dark magic anyways. So that's loss number 1 for us. Thankfully, after a quick grind session, the run back was very simple but quite deadly. Snowhair does crazy damage, so every turn counts without using items or Ganache's magic. But now, with some preparation, I can take out all the surrounding enemies first, then just went for Snowhair. It was a close one, but thankfully we won. After that, Ganache permanently leaves our party, and now we're tasked with heading to Gold Honey Palace, after we get the Love Spirit after going back with some shenanigans at Outpost Village. Most of our female party members are located in Cold Honey, so I opted to ignore most of the enemies until we enter the inside of the palace, and once we enter, we reunite with our most powerful and essential part of the whole game, Peach. Although Peach doesn't have any sort of attacking magic and is very weak physically, she makes up for it by getting the only form of healing magic. It is a pain to level up her magic up, but when you get the Love Spirits, it's significantly easier to level up. Now, since we have a healer, we don't have to rely on overleveling for the bosses to stand a chance. Inside Gold Honey, there's not that much of interest except for the small ocarina in the sound room and the magnifying glass for the insect spirits in the insect room. Oh yeah, and these godforsaken dodos. Oh my god, I hate these dodos so much. I don't care if these things are actually people or cursed. The creatures have the size of brains of jujubes. I hate them so uncontrollably much, and I'm here to make sure you safety feather latent pieces of motherfucker. Oh good gosh, it's Blueberry. And yeah, we have another boss fight, the legend himself, Dab Hansel, and instead of 2 minions of little ghosts and the hilariously named Killseums. This battle is very similar to the one back in the Forest Cave, except this time Peach and Blueberry have joined our party with some love and water magic. The big guy is taking up the little ghost, but because they can spawn the dark spirit. That handle can trigger a combo, so power up your own damage by summoning Catchies and the casting spirit Nocturne. Then you should be good. Peach should just prioritize healing, so don't be afraid to guard and stall until the right moment to heal. And Blueberry should just add on additional damage. As long as there's no major injuries to Peach or the Sound Gals, this battle should be a cakewalk. After that, Lemon finally decides to join our crew, while Pistachio, Kirsch, and unfortunately Arancia leave for the time being. But now we have a full squadron of ladies to kick some weird creature tush. Honestly, most of the playtime is extremely similar to their standard playthrough, with their forced rotation of classmates. Destroy Puccine III and his oddly creepy face, then encounter Cassis successfully around Redcar Quarry. After that, scaled an extremely tedious but quite confusing Torre de Roche, and that is impossible to understand even with my 3rd grade illiterate reading capacity. Sound Spirit 3 is in this tower, and build Bishop for the heroine and Arancia. At the top of the Torre de Roche, we save our beloved Robo Body Latte from becoming a cheesecake oven, but we can't keep him forever because he's not qualified as Magical Vation's best girl. Yet. And now with Latte in our scope, we need to go through Aiko Domon to get back to the material realm. And hey, we can choose who we want in our team now. So let's get Arancia, who is in the magic bus waiting to go on a grand adventure with us. Is what I would say if I didn't forget her halfway through the dungeon, where I'm already level 18. So we'll just get her later. There are 2 mini-bosses and 1 major boss in this factory. The mini-bosses against Dow Consoles, and thankfully they're staying pitiful level 7. So we'll be taking him out with 2 chocolates as well, and 3 unsingers who are the hardest part of the fight, due to repeated use of magic. You have to do this fight twice, and so be wary of that. Finally, the final boss of the Light Realm, the Tartar Terrier, the 2 tin clocks, a tin spinner, and a tin burner. He's quite easy because Lemon absolutely kills him in this fight, along with our 2 sound gals. We make the octo-headed dog face the real kind of music and put him down for good. The Light Realm was only just the first chapter. So now we're tasked with heading to the Dark Realm and retrieve our 8 remaining friends. However, for those experienced in the game, you'll know that once you step into this realm, you're stuck there, so there's no going back with extra materials. On top of that, be sure to take a look at the party members we received on the long stretch of land. I'll give you a moment to think about what's our issue. You got the answer? Yeah, they're all dudes! Means that we're stuck with our only 2 options, making Arancia the objectively best answer. Sure, Lemon and Blueberry get through a majority of the area in this case, though we are immediately halted due to the hail grab and its element of water, which is bad for both those gals. And Peach, as great as her healing is, we mostly need damage to get through this realm. But thanks to my little blunder back in the Light Realm, she's a little inexperienced. So to catch her up, we're gonna take her on a date. Ah yes, the birds are chirping, the wind is breezy, the wildlife is blooming. This is a perfect spot for our date. Destroy all things essentially! Until we gain our ultimate tag team combo with Double Catchy plus Spirit Waltz. If you're not in our element of either sound immunity cretin or a blade wielding otaku who can cut through the sound barrier, this strategy is basically unstoppable. God, that hurt my throat. With some basic grinding done, we take our machine and our girlfriend to the officially start the Dark Realm arc. Unlike the last magic doll we quickly adopted back in the Light Realm, we have to attain this one so in its Bollock Swamps as a part of the cutscene, and for the Love Spirit later on. After getting our hands on the map of the realm, we find Cactus trying to save Chocolate from and indoctrinate him into our Simpwall version 2.0. Another pro of going with the sound sphere is that we get half off of our Vox coin, thanks to our friend playing Ocarina of Time for once in her life, so she's a master of the Ocarina, convincing this little guy to join as our 4th sound spirit. Our next big fight is on Ice Island, with our enemies being the Hail Crowd, the Anemone, the Iglolum, and the Kaiman. Each of the enemies are water element, making them resistant to both thunder and water, which is why I didn't bring Blueberry or Lemon to the Dark Realm. This battle would have been simple by taking out each enemy with a Spirit Nocturne, but these guys are cheater pumpkin eaters. They were able to stunlock both my female party members, and they cheated, so I think it's only fair that I don't count this as a loss. Okay, fine, it's a loss. Thankfully, your Spirit Walls can just get rid of them, 2 of them, leaving the Hail Crab to hear the most ear-grated sound thanks to our 4 catchies. After the battle, Snyder gets over the loss of his mom and a phobia of ice to join our new and improved Simpwall. We sail southwest down to Tapioca Tea Village, where probably the most uneventful things happen. I really don't care if Coco turns into stupid bird and her dumb medicine, because it literally doesn't come up again. We do follow Nectar, someone we met in the Light Realm, down to Aesir Thicket. We have many blade enemies to fight, but nothing is scarier than this. 4 sound enemies, and our strong mood being nullified. I almost TKO'd here, but until I realized that I could just flee and no one will care that I'm a little sissy baby. And the next boss fight down the bottom is Fennel. And hey, do you want to see a fight done in 2 turns?
You want to see me do it again?
Yeah, nothing to report here, except I just really like this dialogue exchange every time I see it, and see what the 6 different characters have to say. Or maybe it's because I'm weird and I find something like that funny. Or uncomfortable. Or hot. Anyways, Moimot Desert! Haha! Nothing here is it for wind, fire, and a lonely dog who we helped at Ice Island. To cheer him up, we give him the robot dog, which is pretty much useless to us. but we do gain access to Aquavit Castle, where 15 of the 16 spirits reside. We get the ones that we need on our roster later on, so for now let's just get Sound 6 and Love 6. With all that done, we enter the Enigma Forest, which is the place where I had the most fear going into. The fight consisted of Dad's older, very similar looking brother, Radhazel, 2 Arcanins, and a Poltergeist. All of them have very strong magic attacks and do a lot of damage. But in actual practice, for even being underleveled, this battle was hilarious. They didn't stack Inkies, leading to all of them dying with Rad at low health. And the only trick up his sleeve was clearing up the spirits, so we took him out with Spirit Nocturnes. Until he fell asleep. So you know what that's time for. Now it's just a straight shot over to the treatment colony where we meet Best Girl Madeline for some exposition, plot twist, and more lore regarding our mysterious principal. Before encountering more ladies, we have yet another boss fight against Badaboom. This fight was yet another 2-turn battle with some equally strong music, but I'll spare your ears this time around. For now, we could finally begin the girls only run. We have the absolute fiercest team consisting of Red Ranger Mallow, Pink Ranger Peach, Blue Ranger Blueberry, Yellow Ranger Lemon, Orange Ranger Orantia, and dang it. There's only 5 of us. Well, there goes that joke. With the ability to choose our party member for the rest game, we don't really need to rely on the primitive simple tactics anymore. Now we can attack in unison. Up in Mount Mortimer, the boss fight against the 2 Melty Kisses and Hot Clouds are equally no trouble. They literally all tried to set up Toasties while 7 spirits were already in play. And yeah, you already know the punchline. After reuniting some lovey-dovey doggies together and getting our 4th love spirit, as well as the many thunder, beast, water, and wind spirits in various locations, we enter the Brownie Cavern. This is the home of many, many sound and blade foes, but thankfully this cave is short and we acquire our 6th sound spirit, and with that we can enter Totop Mines to follow Cabernet, Ganache, Olive, and Candy. The journey here isn't that bad, though if you're like me and very minimal frogs, then trouble might strike. After some careful research, you need a bare minimum 9 frogs to actually get through the whole dungeon. We have a rematch against Penuse the Third and his 3 magic dolls, and they're elements of... Oh, stones? Pass the odd score note. We're about to rock the pebble off these through some high-class sounds!
The fitness grand pacer test.
Then, because I didn't want the others to feel left out, I gave Blueberry and Lemon some time to shine. You know, because they liked each other or something. But the real threat was going to be Gershwin and the allies of 2 Crimson Pouches and 2 Gem Krogs. After a double catchy Spirit Waltz combo, I decided to spare Geshi over here 2 chances to attack before his inevitable fate. And he proceeds to miss both of his bites. Lemon? With Gershwin defeated, we see Ganache and Candy warp to the Abyssal Realm and to find the Enigma King, Karandu. At long last, we get access to Cabernet, and and Green Ranger Olive! I did it! The joke is finished! Yes! Haha! We have finally finished the Rainbow Magic Gal Pals! They are now complete! So off to the Abyssal Realm we go! So good! I made a joke! Finish the joke! So now we enter the Abyssal Realm, or we in the business in the Magical Starsign Discord server call it Grind Desert, because let me tell you, there's a lots, and I mean lots of grinding. After catching Olive up to mostly our levels and strength, it is time to enter one of the least favorite areas, Gazpacho Village, where some random pot decided to alter the very fabric of reality, causing all entrances and exits to be mixed up. You know, it's just another Tuesday for these guys. But afterwards, we head south down to Tanadori, and in this dungeon, we have to play a very careful game of hopscotch, or as I like to call it, suffering. Basically, if you touch a single gummy frog, it'll go straight into your inventory. The only way to prevent this from happening is having Cavern on our team, but he's a beta male and is a boy, so we won't do that for this run. Since we really can't catch any more of these critters, it leads to many resets. And it also doesn't help that this palette's of pots, frogs, robots, and skeletons is a confusing labyrinth with no exit and very minimum prize. 15 minutes of wandering and resets later, we can now face the Pot Golem. This is the last boss with only 1 foe to take out, and fortunately, the Pot Golem isn't known for being fast. You can easily set up 6 catchies and 1 charities from a digital support, and they'll clean one shot. You already know the drill by now, so it won't be easier from here on out. Don't climb the psychopathic plot for the 6th love spirit to appear, and head eastward to May Village where you find some weirdo named Zaniel who made all the local mudmen vanish, meaning it's up to you to defeat him in the pyramid. At this point, most of the realm's badlands are opened up, so feel free to save some time by getting the beast spirit over by Arco and 3 warp points for easier transportation. We enter the period for the next for some easy frog giving the terracotta pots. Yeah, with some handy use of the guide, of course. The doors to the hallways will not be open unless 3 spirits of that certain element, which is why we defended as many as possible for the previous room. However, because of my greedy nature to keep the frogs for the mines, and the fact that the stone spirits require blue frogs, we don't have enough for the blade, dark, and stone spirits, so meaning we have to come back later for our final spirits. We need coins anyway, so I guess it didn't matter too much. Not to mention, all the enemies inside the pyramid are stone elementals, and they are very weak to the concept of sound. If it already wasn't apparent, we're unstoppable! With the power of music, we literally annihilate the common race of this cursed land. No one can handle the righteous power of bursting out a musical number. This is High School Musical in this bitch! We can destroy all of mankind so we choose, if we so choose to. And the only ones that can stop us are us in our own elements. We'll just recruit them to our force in the musical female leads! Oh wait, they don't have genders. Never mind, sorry about that tangent, let's just continue. As previously mentioned, the boss here is Zaniel, who has an army of 2 sweeties and 3 paradox. Over here is quite high level, being level 55. The foes surrounding him are only level 37. So anyways, take them out first, and you can only get a double catchy plus spirit waltz combo if you're lucky, due to constantly clearing spirits with his magic. However, this can be bypassed by the clever use of putting the magic zombie baby to sleep. Then stacking as many catchies as possible to, well, you know. After saving the race of Mudman, one of them gives you the Mystic Light Veil, meaning that we can safely step into the Star Cavern Arco. And my lord, I should just throw it out here and say, this game is beautiful. The background's just so vibrantly colored, and the atmosphere feels so soothing. God, Nintendo, please, just be a good company and release an HD remaster. Make it happen, please. I will pay top money for it. This area is basically a stealth mission against the red bots, and honestly, it feels like if you're even close to them, they won't warp you away, but other times they do. More importantly, we get another rainy for the team, plus our very last catchy. But even finding those useful spirits, that wasn't enough to prepare me for the scariest enemies in the game, 2 Clavel Leeches, who uses light elements and cast a light spell called Light Breath that can hit an entire row. And as of writing this script, yeah, they're level 60. If it already wasn't apparent, we lost. It was close though, but we lost. Thankfully, they only show up in the last chamber, so always be ready for them. After sending the cute little stars to the higher plane of existence, we obtain the Dark Veil from Black Current, giving us the access to the Abyssal Corridor. And since we haven't collected a single Gummy Frog, their wandering souls aren't here to clutter up the meadow, so we can easily nab the 3 Frogs of Fate so we can finally enter the Earth of Darkness. And yeah, things are tough here. The next boss is Equal who took over Candy's body back in the Dark Realm. These guys' henchmen consist of a Biopuka and 2 Palarandas. They are level 68, and we are level 50, and stacking 7 catches will be way too luck dependent. Furthermore, Olive will choose not to fight because she is too heartbroken by Candy's corruption. They must take these enigmas on a 5 versus 4. Luckily, I decided to buckle down and finish my grind. I tracked down the remaining Blade Spirits and befriended the last catchy, so now I can take the Gummy Frogs with no consequences. I collected 50 frogs, including the one blocking the path of the remaining Enrica Quarry. Now we need more coins. We shove Lemon back into the bus so we don't kill any more piranhas, and we feed him Bira to get more tokens. Mainly we need Ventus, Taunturus, and Aqua coins for the remaining Gusties, Zappies, and Rainies respectively. Then we grind our magic in the quarry with Lemon and Olive, and the Ice Island with Blueberry. Finally, we grind to a generous level 60 to mostly deal with them. We hop back into the Abyssal Realm and confront Candy once again, and our main strategy is to take out the Biopuka due to him being a spirit honor. If we get hit with a powered up black hole, it's an instant game over. Fortunately, the enemies only seem to use these moves after turn 1. I get a clutch sweet turn on one of the Palaneras to skip his move. On turn 2, I managed to take out at least 2 of them and still no black holes in use. Turn 3, I decided to take out the last Palanera to safely get more catchies. At this point, I have 2 charities on the field just in case I get hit by 1 black hole, so I guarded with Lemon who was at low health, and of course, he does use a black hole. but we miraculously survive and take down Equal and with everyone alive and well. With Candy saved, we can add her to our party, but unfusing with an Enigma brought our magic powers back to square one. You may wonder why you want to add a character who is level 35 with a magic level of 1, but Candy is actually really useful against many poison enemies we'll encounter through the Despair Swamp. After some careful grinding, I'm able to get Candy's magic back to level 18 to learn her strongest move, Cyclone, which begs the question, who do we replace? It's a tough decision, but I ultimately ended up going with Blueberry. As great as in many scenarios, her magic conflicts with both olives and lemons, and we need Orantia for double catchy spirit waltzes. Plus, with many extra levels and good equipment, Candy will basically replace Blueberry as our main AoE attacker. Sorry, Blueberry, you did extremely useful during our time in the Light and Abyssal Realm, but now is our time for some new blood and some new tricks. The remaining parts of the Earth, the Darkness, and the Despair Swamp isn't anything too bad. Thanks to Olive stealing gummy wormholes and Candy getting some good level along the way, we set foot into the final dungeon, Drizzy Grotto. The main puzzle here is anytime to get your possession to the pods in exchange for the Abyssal Stones. We need at least 18 to access the final boss and 30 to the secret party member for Brownie. He comes with all 5 pieces of the exclusive Brownie set, which is the strongest piece of gear in the game. But since we got a lot of sacrificial materials on our hands, we can go above and beyond and get most stones I can carry. Who needs 30 Abyssal Stones when you can carry 54 of them? So now, after clearing the Brownie, we can now strip the godlike man from all of his clothing so we can put Candy to wear him to make up how low level she has. So this is our final team heading into Karandu's domain. We may not have the defensive prowess to show, but we have many things Karandu doesn't. This includes music, girls, memes, and most importantly, actual viewership. Let's go and follow Karandu. The first phase of Karandu is definitely the hardest fight in the game. We have a multitude of elemental hands to take out, and all while making sure we don't kill Ganache in the process. This battle has proved to be quite challenging. My first 2 attempts, I just couldn't get around the Blade and Thunder Hand before I just get killed by half their team with their strong magic like Abyssal Void, Ronoise, and Black Razor. In attempt 3, I just kinda killed Ganache in 2 hits by complete accident. And attempt 4 looked really good, but first turn everyone decided just to use their strongest move on me. And the Thunder Hand was at a fraction of health, and instead of, using a physical attack to kill it, I had the genius plan of setting up 2 Zappies and then just zapping me to death. So that was attempt 4. Thankfully, attempt 5 started out really strong, putting half the field to sleep and taking out 3 hands in 2 turns. The fight was mostly some strong back and forth, until just 1 hand Ganache was left. I nearly had a heart attack because Ganache still attacked even though the Enigma was defeated. But thankfully the battle officially ends once the main threats are defeated. Now with Karandu's weaker form down, we head to the true final battle against Karandu, a Skulltimate, 2 Dragoils, and 2 Plumpkins. Everyone here except the Skulltimate and Karandu can spawn Inkies, and trust me, you do not want to face a powered up Black Sun from Karandu. Just use all your strategies you learned at this point to take out the threats. By turn 2, all of them are down, but a pair of Plumpkins and Skulltimate were dead too. Luckily, a double catchy Sid Spirit Waltz combo can take them out. But this proceeds to Karandu just top-decking Black Sun every time he has a chance to. You get hit twice by it, and this makes Maldo go down, leaving Orantia with 6 HP. If he uses Black Sun one more time, it's over for us. Out of nowhere, he decides to throw the match and goes for Dark Light, a physical attack on Candy, who is wearing the Brownie set, and it only does 2 damage. Unreal. With surviving 1 more Black Sun and a double gusty Slycone combo, Karandu is finally defeated, making this girls only a playthrough a moderate success. So yeah, it's possible to beat Magical Vacation only using females, albeit with a few obstacles. Other than a Ravage Mysteries episode, I want this run would be really fun, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you want an all-boys run, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more random things I like doing. So, take care guys, this was really fun to do.